The ultimate hangover prevention guide. Foods to avoid? Listen up, you lot. Are you tired of waking up after a night out feeling like you've been run over by a bloody lorry? You know, that pounding headache, the churning stomach, the overwhelming urge to crawl back into bed and die. It's a bloody disaster. Well, it's time to take control and ditch those horrendous hangovers for good. The key? Knowing which foods to avoid when you're out enjoying a few drinks. You might think you're being clever, lining your stomach with whatever greasy takeaway you can find, but some foods are just sabotage waiting to happen. In this video, we're diving deep into the culinary culprits that are making your hangovers a living hell. We're talking citrus fruits, fatty foods, sugary snacks, the lot. I'm going to show you exactly what to avoid so you can wake up feeling like £1,000,000, ready to tackle the day. Citrus fruits are delicious, I'll give you that. A squeeze of lemon in your gin and tonic, a slice of orange in your Aperol spritz. Refreshing, right? Wrong. These seemingly innocent additions are a one-way ticket to Hangover City. Citrus fruits are highly acidic. Your stomach's already working overtime with alcohol. Adding acid makes it worse. It's like throwing fuel on a fire. That burning after margaritas? That's the citrus. Steer clear of citrus fruits when drinking. Opt for cucumber water instead. Your stomach will thank you in the morning. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Chef Ramsay, everyone says to eat a greasy burger before a night out. Listen, that's a load of bollocks. Fatty foods are not your friends, especially when it comes to preventing hangovers. Here's the deal. Alcohol is absorbed into your bloodstream much faster when your stomach is empty. So, logically, you'd think stuffing your face with a greasy kebab would slow down the process, right? Wrong again. While it's true that fat does slow down the emptying of your stomach, it also messes with your body's ability to break down the alcohol. That means the alcohol stays in your system for longer, wreaking havoc on your poor, unsuspecting organs. And let's not forget about the digestive nightmare that comes with consuming a mountain of fat alongside your alcoholic beverages. Indigestion, bloating, heartburn, you name it. Fatty foods will bring it on. It's a recipe for disaster. Instead of reaching for that greasy burger, opt for something lighter and easier to digest. A handful of nuts, some hummus and veggie sticks, or even a simple salad will do the trick. Your body will thank you for it in the morning. Let's talk about salt, shall we? Specifically those salty snacks that seem to magically appear whenever there's alcohol involved. Crisps, pretzels, salted nuts, they're like the sirens of the snack world, luring you in with their salty goodness. But here's the thing about salt. It's a major culprit when it comes to dehydration. And dehydration, my friends, is one of the main reasons you feel like death warmed over after a night of drinking. Think about it. Alcohol is a diuretic, meaning it makes you pee more. And when you pee, you lose fluids. Add a mountain of salty snacks into the mix, and you're basically turning your body into a desert. Those salty snacks might taste good in the moment, but they're only going to make your hangover worse. So do yourself a favor and ditch the salt. Opt for some unsalted nuts, veggie sticks, or even a piece of fruit, just not citrus. Chapter 4, Spicy Foods, a recipe for hangover heartburn. Now, I love a bit of spice as much as the next person, but when it comes to drinking, spicy foods are like a ticking time bomb for your stomach. You see, alcohol is already a major irritant to your digestive system. It can cause inflammation and increase the production of stomach acid. Add spicy food into the mix, and you're basically begging for a world of hurt. Those fiery chili peppers might seem like a good idea at the time, but trust me, they'll come back to haunt you with a vengeance in the morning. We're talking heartburn. indigestion, and a whole lot of regret. So, if you're planning on enjoying a few drinks, lay off the hot sauce and chili flakes. Stick to milder flavors that won't send your stomach into overdrive. Your taste buds might not thank you, but your body certainly will. Chapter 5. Sugary Treats, the Hangover Energy Crash. Alright, let's talk about sugar, the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing. It might seem like a good idea to indulge your sweet tooth when you're out on the town, but trust me, it's a recipe for disaster. Here's why. Sugar causes your blood sugar levels to spike and crash, leaving you feeling even more drained and fatigued than you would from alcohol alone. It's like adding insult to injury. That sugary cocktail might taste delicious going down, but it's going to leave you feeling like a deflated balloon a few hours later. And don't even get me started on those late-night trips to the bakery. Those pastries might seem tempting after a few drinks, but they'll only make your hangover worse. Instead of reaching for the sugar, opt for healthier alternatives that will satisfy your sweet cravings without wreaking havoc on your blood sugar levels. A piece of fruit, a handful of dates, or even a small square of dark chocolate will do the trick. Chapter 6. Carbonated drinks, your hangover's partner in crime. Listen up, because this is important. Those fizzy drinks you love so much, yet they're not doing you any favors when it comes to preventing hangovers. In fact, they're like the evil sidekick to alcohol's villainous plot to ruin your morning. Here's the science bit. Carbonation actually speeds up the absorption of alcohol into your bloodstream. That means you'll get drunk faster, and that initial buzz will wear off quicker, leaving you reaching for another drink sooner than you should. And we all know what happens when you start downing drinks too quickly. Judgment goes out the window, you make questionable decisions, and you wake up the next day wondering what hit you. Not a pretty picture, is it? So, ditch the fizzy drinks and opt for something that won't send you on a one-way trip to Hangover City. Water is always a good choice, as are juices. Just watch out for the sugar content. Chapter 7. Caffeine, the ultimate hangover deceiver. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. Caffeine, that magical elixir that gets us going in the morning and keeps us going throughout the day. But here's the thing about caffeine. It's a master of disguise when it comes to hangovers. You see, caffeine can mask the effects of alcohol, making you feel more alert and awake than you actually are. This can be dangerous, as it can lead to overconsumption and a much worse hangover in the long run. Plus, caffeine is a diuretic, just like alcohol. That means it'll dehydrate you even further, exacerbating those nasty hangover symptoms. It's like adding fuel to the fire. So while that espresso martini might sound tempting, resist the urge. Opt for a caffeine-free alternative instead. Your body will thank you for it in the morning. Let's talk about processed meats, shall we? Those salty, savory, oh-so-tempting devils that seem to call your name after a few drinks. But here's the thing. Processed meats are loaded with sodium, which, as we've already established, is a recipe for dehydration. And dehydration, my friends, is a hangover's best friend. It's the reason you wake up with a pounding headache, a dry mouth, and a general feeling of misery. Those pepperoni pizzas and bacon cheeseburgers might seem like a good idea at the time, but trust me, they'll come back to haunt you in the morning. So, do yourself a favor and steer clear of processed meats when you're drinking. Opt for healthier protein sources that won't leave you feeling like a dried-up prune the next day. Grilled chicken, fish, tofu, the options are endless. Now, I love a good cheese board as much as the next person, but when it comes to drinking, dairy products can be a recipe for disaster. You see, Alcohol can irritate the stomach lining, making it harder to digest certain foods. And dairy products, unfortunately, fall into that category. That creamy pasta dish or cheesy pizza might seem tempting after a few drinks, but it's only going to make you feel worse in the long run. We're talking bloating, gas, indigestion, the whole 9 yards. So if you're prone to digestive issues, especially after drinking, it's best to steer clear of dairy products altogether. There are plenty of other delicious options out there that won't leave you feeling like a beached whale the next day. All right, let's talk about artificial sweeteners, those seemingly innocent substitutes for sugar that promise guilt-free indulgence. But here's the thing about artificial sweeteners. They're not as innocent as they seem. You see, artificial sweeteners can actually trick your body into thinking it's consuming real sugar. This can lead to increased cravings, overeating, and even metabolic disruptions in the long run. And when it comes to hangovers, artificial sweeteners can actually make your symptoms worse. They can disrupt your gut bacteria, leading to bloating, gas, and indigestion. Plus, they can interfere with your body's ability to regulate blood sugar levels, making those energy crashes even more intense. So if you're trying to avoid a hangover, it's best to steer clear of artificial sweeteners altogether. Stick to natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup in moderation, or better yet, embrace the natural sweetness of fruits and vegetables. There you have it, you lot. The ultimate guide to avoiding those dreaded hangovers. Remember, it's all about making smart choices and listening to your body. Steer clear of those culinary culprits and you'll be well on your way to waking up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the day. No more pounding headaches, no more churning stomachs, and no more wasting precious hours feeling like death warmed over. Now go forth and conquer your next night out, and don't forget to share these hangover busting tips with your friends. They'll thank you for it later. Cheers!